As promised to you earlier today, Minister Aidu and I would like to give you an update. I want to provide you a further update on the repatriation of Canadians in Wuhan. We now have secured a few seats on the flights organized by the United States authorities. Individuals who are eligible for travel on these flights are being contacted as we speak by our consular officials in Wuhan. This plane is currently scheduled to depart Wuhan a few hours after the Canadian plane. It will land first in Vancouver, where Canadians passengers will disembark for onward travel to CFB Trenton, where they will be subject to the same processes as those Canadians traveling on the Canadian flight. We're talking about a few dozen. Obviously, a few dozen, because this is obviously fluctuating. We have been talking to the U.S. State Department. As I said to you this morning, the priority that I have with Minister Aidu is obviously to care for Canadians and to repatriate all those who want to be repatriated, and to do that in an orderly fashion and to do that as quickly as possible. So obviously we'll have our Canadian plane, but at the same time, as I said all along, we are talking to allies, and now we had an offer by the U.S. State Department who's going to have a plane which will be departing shortly after our own plane to put a number of Canadians on board. The reason why I can give you the exact number is, again, about the manifest. We won't know until we coordinate on the ground.
It's over 30 now?
I would say it's a few dozen, and I'll get back to you when I have the exact manifest, because it's depending on how many seats there are going to be, how many American citizens there'll be, and how many Canadians, but we will provide you the detail as soon as we have it. Totally. I mean, we are here to help Canadians. That's bottom line. That's been, the Prime Minister set the tone from day one. We are there to help Canadians. So we have the Canadian plane, we have a US option which has materialized now. The State Department just called us before I came to the question period to offer a number of seats. And we will look at the end, we will look at the manifest of Flight Canada, I would say, the number who go on the US plane, and we'll look at the manifest, and if there are still Canadians who want to be evacuated, obviously we have the other option of sending a second Canadian plane to repatriate.
How do you get Canadians on the American plane from Vancouver to Trenton?
So, the ND is looking at different options with respect to transferring these passengers from Vancouver, because Vancouver is going to be the refueling station for the American plane. So the Canadians would be deplaning, and DND, I should say Department of Defense of Canada, is looking at the various options to take these Canadian nationals from Vancouver to Trenton.